Our last and definitely not least session is by Joona from our innovation partner, UltraHack. UltraHack combines hackathons and innovation platform and accelerators in a unique manner. Their mission is to build a community where the best talent and leading industry partners could meet and collaborate towards future innovations. Joona is a Manila-based Finnish native, Master of Science in Economics and Business Administration with 9 years international experience in management consulting, business development, and trade and investment promotion in Southeast Asia. Take it away, Joona.
Hello everyone, my name is Joona Selin. I represent UltraHack, and today we are excited to partner with Paper and Toast to discuss open innovation and our approach to plastic circularity. What I'll be sharing is a few words about UltraHack and then what open innovation is all about. We will discuss that in the context of plastic circularity, and we'll also run through some frequently asked questions to help elaborate on our approach, and we will then conclude with our call to action in connection to In.Techathon, the Plastic Circularity Innovation Program. To start with a few words about UltraHack, our mission is to help companies, NGOs, and public organizations to innovate and build new digital business by using open innovation. And there we have an end-to-end innovation management model that we use and an existing community of innovators. Over the last 5 years, we've done 150 of these open innovation programs globally. And as you can see, we work with a number of different sectors, a number of different organizations, both companies as well as development organizations. And what's common to each and every one is the need to innovate, and also the realization that not all of that innovation can come from within the organization, but external perspectives, ideas are needed. And that's where we come into the picture as UltraHack to facilitate that process of how to bring in the external ideas to innovation. Why do we do this then? Maybe a few more words on that. Of course, open innovation is a great way to fast track new services and business models, and bring new technology, new ideas into the forefront. It's also a nice startup way of developing things. So large organizations can have this startup way of innovation through open innovation. And the other side of it is, of course, that with our community, there's plenty of students, startups, corporate teams in that community who can be looked at also as potential employees. That's another aspect of some of the open innovation programs that we run, the recruitment aspect. And then, of course, the open innovation program usually is a great way to build the brand and communicate thought leadership around a certain topic. So these are some of the main drivers on why we do these open innovation programs together with our partners. And based on our experience, all parties involved get value from these kind of exercises, be it on the partner side or the participant side, the innovator side, but also the society at large. So, and further on, as mentioned, we work with private organizations, public sector, research institutions, as well as NGOs. And to share one example, with the Asian Development Bank, we worked on the Digital ID Challenge, and ADB there had the need to bring an ID solution to 1 billion people in the world who currently don't have an ID, thinking about an environment where there's little or no connectivity and hardly any smartphones. So what would a digital ID solution look like in that kind of an environment? So then, together with our approach, we run an innovation program together with ADB, and the winning team then came up with a solution which was later on implemented in a pilot project in Papua New Guinea. So this is an example of ADB having the need for innovation, the kind of business problem, if you will, and then us bringing in the solution. We received more than 100 ideas on how to tackle this, and then the best teams were part of the hackathon, and as a result of that, then the winning idea was piloted in the Papua New Guinea pilot project. So everyone got what they were looking for, so to say. And thinking about the impact, then we're able to drastically reduce the cost as well as the time of implementing these new kind of digital IDs. Now, if we then think about open innovation in the context of plastic circularity, our topic today, just like to share a few perspectives on that. So, of course, plastic pollution is an issue which has many stakeholders. So again, there we have the need to have a collaborative approach. And what better way than looking for new ideas and new innovation through this crowdsourcing method, wherein we can bring fresh perspectives from different groups, different sources to help address the challenge. And again, it's a very fast way of developing new ideas, new solutions to address the problem. And I'd like to share one case example from what we did in Mexico. So the challenges that we had outlined was on removing single-use plastic in food takeaway and delivery. So that was an example of a challenge that we built an innovation program around. And looking a bit further into it, so of course, starting from the problem area wherein there's a lot of single-use plastic containers being used in food delivery, our objective was to eliminate the single-use plastics, look for alternatives, ideas, and new solutions that could then reduce disposable plastics in this use case. And again, what came out was that a great number of ideas, more than 100 solutions or ideas were submitted, and the best ones we ran through our hackathon process, and then there was a circular food container solution, which was the winning idea. So just to share here a bit of what that solution looks like. So from the restaurant receiving the order, and then through these reusable containers, that's where the food is delivered. Afterwards, those containers are collected, washed and disinfected, and then brought back to a restaurant. So this is an example of a circular solution that came out from the innovation program mentioned here. And after the program, after the hackathon, then there's more product development that has taken place, and the actual solution has been piloted with restaurants in Mexico City, and currently the team is in fundraising mode. So that's sort of what happened since the hackathon took place. Another example, this was from the same project that we did together with the City of Mexico. So reducing and reusing municipal solid waste was the challenge. And looking into it a bit deeper, so the overall objective by 2030 that the City of Mexico City rather has is to become zero waste by 2030. So that of course requires a lot of new ideas, new innovation on how to make that a reality, given that there's quite a bit of solid waste that is generated on a daily basis. So we were then looking at how to reduce that waste and how to recycle and reuse the waste that is already there. And again, an abundance of solutions, ideas that came in, and then the 10 best ones we took into the hackathon. And in this case, the winner was e-plastic ride, an electric scooter, which was it's made of recycled plastic. So that's the case example here with this challenge. And we have a brief video to share this case example with you. Moving on, what has happened since the hackathon itself? Again, more product development has taken place, and some logistics companies have been piloting the solution based on the idea that was presented. So these are just a couple of examples of what can come out as solutions. And then, of course, I also wanted to share the sort of visibility and positive media coverage that our work together with the City of Mexico and the partners received a number of online press releases, as well as some TV coverage that we received, not only for the solutions but all the partners involved. Then to move on to maybe help address some of the questions that we frequently receive on what is it that we actually do and how the process works. So we picked a few to go through together with you, starting with the question of what if we don't have a challenge or we don't know how to formulate a challenge. So that's something wherein we have developed a challenge workshop approach, a format wherein we would take that business need or a pain point in the organization and use that as a starting point for developing the challenge statement or challenge definition, as we call it. So we have a methodology to run a workshop and ensure that there's alignment both on the business need on the challenge partner side, as well as then on the innovator side, that we will invite to start working on addressing the problem. So no threat if there is no clear idea of what the challenge looks like. Our role is to help guide through that process and make sure that we come up with a challenge that is relevant on both sides. The other question that we often receive is on intellectual property. And in most of the cases, the teams who participate in the innovation program, they are the ones owning their idea, and they have the right to their idea. And that, of course, then means that the best teams typically would be in a good position to enter commercial negotiations after the hackathon or have discussions on further development piloting together with the challenge partner. So for that one, we have the right of first refusal, typically from 3 to 6 months. And that is the window in which the challenge partner then can enter negotiations with the best solutions. Also a question on non-disclosure. And of course, while NDAs tend to go against the spirit of open innovation, there are, of course, instances wherein the business challenge or the challenge that the innovators would be working on is sensitive or has some data or has some information in it that would require an NDA to be signed. So we've also done that case by case, wherein the participants would then be required to sign an NDA before they can participate in the innovation program. So that's how we address the confidentiality question. And then, just to start bringing the presentation to a call to action and to the context of In.Techathon, the circular economy innovation program for plastic packaging. Maybe to trigger some thought here in terms of how revenue is currently reinvested into research and innovation. If we look at the US, almost 16% is reinvested into research and innovation. In Asia Pacific, there's still some catching up to do in that regard. So that's why we of course seek to address this gap. And as you can see, also in reference to the ICT sector, also the APAC region is lacking. This is from a study from PwC on global innovation. So that's what we refer to here. And so we wish to take this and help inspire new thoughts, new ideas on addressing the topic of plastic circularity. And in the context of In.Techathon, the way we do it is that we have our challenge partners, the organizations who have that need for innovation, or organizations who want to see new innovation take place. So that's the box on the top left. And then we have the innovator side. We have a great community with Paper and Toast, as well as with the programs that we've done as UltraHack and our partners. So that's the community that we would tap to bring together to In.Techathon. So more than 10,000 innovators all in all. And what we would then do is that in what can be called the pre-hack phase, we have 1 to 3 months runway, wherein we would work on the challenge definition. We would start recruiting the team, start inviting the teams to participate in this program, and the teams would then submit their early stage ideas. And the best teams are then the ones that we would choose to take part in our sprint. So the sprint, and we'll look a bit deeper into this in the next slide. But the sprint is a 7-day program wherein we have different modules as a workshop, as well as then like the hackathon part of the program that would then culminate in a pitch, in a presentation of an idea or an MVP, a solution that addresses the problem statement. So that's the sprint phase. And then what's key after that is what happens next, which is the further development. As mentioned, that can be a question of bringing a new idea directly into implementation, or new solution directly into implementation. It can be a question of having an incubator environment or accelerator environment to further develop the solution that has been presented in the hackathon. So that's of course key, that we seek to address also with our approach and with the innovation program, that what comes out is tangible and can be brought into action in a real life context. So here again, just a breakdown. I won't go deeper into this, but just to share the sprint 7-day program and the content of what that week holds within. So with that, I'd like to say thank you very much for participating in this webinar, and looking forward to the Q&A session. It's our call out, of course, to partner with us. No matter where you are in that innovation journey or in that value chain, I'd like to encourage you to reach out and have discussions with us on how we can help you address your innovation need.
All right. Hi, Joona.
Hello, Michelle.
Hi. Thank you for the sharing earlier. We've received a number of questions, and we'll just get right into it. I think one of you shared a lot in your presentation earlier, and a few examples as well. I think some of the attendees would like to know a little bit further on how is the progress from UltraHack's Plastic Waste Innovation Challenge from the past. And then if there are any follow-ups, do the participants work with bigger corporations or any local entities as well? What are the impacts and how are they measured? If you can answer.
Yeah, sure. There's a lot in one question there, but maybe to start with, what happens after the hackathon is done, or after the innovation program is done. So as mentioned earlier, typically, even before we start the innovation program, we would have already outlined what is the piloting environment, or what is the actual project or need for which these solutions are developed in the innovation program. So as I mentioned with the case of the Mexico City example, so the winning solutions have gone into pilot, and so for instance with this circular food packaging solution, restaurants are actually using that, and so that's the real life example of what has happened since. The other example with the E-Trike is also in piloting together with logistics companies locally. So those are just a couple of examples on that particular case.
Okay. Thank you. And previously, as I was talking to Arnold in the previous session, Arnold from Ellen MacArthur Foundation, he mentioned that the redesign process can be quite a long process. I understand In.Techathon itself, it's a 7-day hackathon. How long would the redesign process take in this case in order for the product to go to market?
Sure. So I think what's good to highlight is that the 7 days, that's kind of the most visible part, the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this approach. So of course, what we expect is that the participating teams would come in with existing ideas or existing solutions. So they're not starting from scratch, but they have something that is already relevant to the challenge. And we have, of course, a selection process prior to those 7 days, that sprint week that I was referring to. So teams starting from already a point wherein there's something relevant to the challenge, relevant to the need that's already in place, and then we would choose the best teams, best ideas to go through the program, and throughout the program, then they would get to further work on towards that solution that addresses the challenge. So that's why we call it the sprint, right? But a lot of work has already taken place prior to that. The sprint is just like to refine and maybe address some areas of need or gaps in the solution to make it relevant then to the challenge partners' needs. So, and then equally important is like what happens after those 7 days, right? So I keep coming back to thinking about that piloting environment or like what is the sort of commercial environment in which those new ideas are then brought into real life or brought into implementation. That can mean like an in-house incubator or in-house acceleration program or together with a partner, or it can be specific to a project wherein those solutions are piloted. So all in all, of course, like that whole runway, we're talking about months, you know, like minimum 3 months up to maybe a 12-month cycle in which these ideas, new solutions then would see the daylight.
Okay. You mentioned about like piloting and also maybe possibly an incubation as well. Another question is like, will UltraHack help to raise funds for the startups or the innovators after the program?
Yeah.
Or the solution?
So right. So of course, like UltraHack's main role is to first of all like identify the need for innovation and like make the connection to the business need, and then bring the community of innovators to address that need, and then walk through this process of open innovation, wherein that like MVP or demo or solution can come out at the end of the sprint. And then the partnering from the point of view of where the funding comes in, that can mean that we've already identified like it's either a VC or either an accelerator program or like a corporate environment, a corporate partner who would be in a position to maybe then onboard or bring these best solutions from the innovation program into their environment or into their ecosystem. So UltraHack directly does not take the role of funding. That's not what we do, but we would help facilitate that together with our partners.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Another question that came in was like, how can we, or maybe what is the role of UltraHack in promoting startups to innovate sustainably with a circular mindset rather than just designing products or services for maximum functionality and profitability?
Sure. So, well, I think it's a good reflection, like when we talk about like again, where does the need for innovation start? It starts with the companies or with the organizations. And of course, like the sustainability agenda is heavily out there right now. Everyone is talking about it. So that means that the need to look for ideas on what that innovation really means, like in real life. Like how do we like achieve our sustainability targets, like in the context of plastic circularity, for instance? Like what does that mean? So that question is out there, and that then of course means that when we build our activities, when we build our innovation programs around that need, we sort of intrinsically address the sustainability agenda. So that's just to highlight that, like again, as UltraHack, like it is not our job to define or determine like what kind of innovation should take place. That need comes from really the corporate partners, the challenge partners. And as we've heard in the earlier sessions, like there's a lot of ideas, a lot of solutions, but also a lot of targets and plans to achieve sustainability that we need to address. So it's really a question of addressing that need, really.
Yes, thank you so much, Joona. That's all the questions that we have today. And that's definitely for like everyone out there, if you have that need and you want to talk to us more about it, feel free to get in touch with Joona. And also like UltraHack, we will also be sharing again the link for the consultation, the one-on-one consultation, if you wish to speak a little bit more in detail with Joona as well. Thank you so much, Joona, for your sharing and also the Q&A.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you. Yes, we are coming very, very close to the end of the webinar.
yeah, we hope to aim, why we created this webinar is that we want to move the sustainability agenda forward and creating a holistic ecosystem as well. That's why we have different partners like UltraHack on board, and also our industry partners, Lingup and Tolling Corporation as well. So if you want to know more on how you can further the sustainability initiative together, feel free to check out UltraHack and also Lingup and Tolling Corporation. We'll be right back really shortly with the closing. Thank you.